We all know that feeling, don't we? You sit down at your desk and you're immediately faced with this modern dilemma. It's just pure, overwhelming information overload.
It really is the digital equivalent of drowning.
Yeah.
You've got, what, 12 PDFs open for a project, 3 industry reports waiting,
Oh, yeah.
maybe a handful of technical articles you saved. You spend hours skimming and your brain just feels full.
Yeah.
But you're not actually informed. You're just exhausted.
Drowning in data. It's the core challenge. But what if you could just bypass all that? What if you had, like, a personal assistant that could read all those boring files in seconds and then just explain it to you?
Well, that's the promise of NotebookLM.
Ah.
And that's our deep dive today. We're not just, looking at a piece of software. We're exploring a whole new way of managing knowledge.
And it's so important that we start right there by understanding why this is so fundamentally different from, say, a standard chatbot. This isn't about searching the entire internet.
Exactly. Our mission here is to walk you through these essential concepts like grounding and the practical steps to turn this into your own custom research brain. We'll cover the setup, the layout, and the critical skill of feeding the AI what it needs. We call that context engineering.
Okay, let's unpack that.
Yeah.
Why does standard AI so often fail us when we need precise facts?
Well, a standard AI is searching the entire world of information. It's incredibly powerful, but when you ask a nuanced question, it pulls from everything. That means outdated material, irrelevant forum posts.
Or stuff that's just flat out wrong.
Precisely. And that's what leads to hallucination.
Right, the term for when an AI just makes things up.
Yeah, it just invents an answer to fill the gap, and it sounds completely confident while doing it.
And that is where this idea of grounding comes in.
Grounding is the guardrail. Think of it like this. Imagine you're taking the most important test of your life.
Okay.
And the examiner says you can only use one single authorized textbook. No phone, no friends, no searching the web.
I love that analogy. It defines the boundary perfectly.
It does. Grounding means the AI puts on, like, literal blinkers. It only uses facts from the documents you provided. It can't guess or pull in outside information. Its whole world is what you uploaded.
That constraint is actually its superpower.
It is. It forces factual accountability. The AI will even cite where it found the answer in your files, and this is where you step into a new role.
The context engineer.
That's the one.
It sounds like a really fancy job title, but it just means you're the boss of the AI's brain.
You are. And if you want a great output, you have to pick the right ingredients. It's like cooking, right? You put garbage ingredients, old files, irrelevant notes into the pot, you're going to get garbage soup.
The quality of your files dictates the quality of the insight. You control the context. So if you upload a book on deep sea biology, it becomes a marine biologist trained only on that book.
And that tight control, that focus, is what makes the answers so useful for your specific needs, instead of just general trivia.
I have to admit, and this is maybe a little vulnerable, but I still wrestle with prompt drift myself. When a general AI just pulls from too many places at once, that forced grounding, knowing it can only look at my 3 specific files, it's just incredibly helpful.
It forces you to be strategic.
So if I am the context engineer, what's the core danger of bad ingredients in my knowledge pot?
The danger isn't that the AI will fail, it's that it will process your flawed input perfectly.
Leading to perfectly useless, irrelevant output.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's talk practicality. For a new learner, how easy is it to get started?
Remarkably seamless. No payment, no download. You just sign in with your normal Google account. Once you're in, you create what's called a notebook.
And we recommend keeping that name super specific, right? Not Project 1, but maybe Q4 marketing study.
Absolutely. Now, here's where most beginners make their first mistake. As soon as you create that notebook, a big pop-up appears. It asks you to add sources.
The pop-up panic.
Yeah.
That immediate urge to just start dumping every file you own into it.
Resist it. This is key. Hit the X button, hit escape, just close that pop-up. You need to understand the empty room before you start bringing in all the furniture.
So once that's gone, the screen is pretty clean. It's divided into 3 crucial sections.
Right. On the far left, you have your source panel. Think of it as your bookshelf. This is where every file you upload lives.
And the most important feature on that bookshelf is the little checkbox next to each file.
That checkbox is the most powerful thing in the entire system. If the box is checked, the AI is actively reading that document. If you uncheck it, the AI completely ignores it.
That's the surgical control you mentioned earlier. You could have 10 sources uploaded, but you only check the 2 that are relevant to your question right now.
Exactly. It eliminates all the noise. Then the middle section is just the chat room. That's your workspace where you type your questions, like summarize this chapter.
And the answers appear right there. And then on the right, often hidden, is the notebook guide or the studio area. That's where special features and saved work accumulate.
So to be crystal clear, that checkbox in the source panel, that's really the key to giving me surgical control over what the AI is reading.
Without a doubt, it controls the AI's current focus.
Okay, now that we know the layout, let's talk about feeding the brain. What kind of sources can we actually upload?
It's incredibly flexible. You can use standard PDFs, text files. It connects directly to your Google Docs and slides. You can also just paste website links.
And the one that really surprises people is YouTube.
It's a total game changer. You just paste a video link, and the AI accesses the entire video transcript. It doesn't watch the video, it reads the words.
Which means a 3-hour lecture becomes a 10-page reference source you can search instantly.
It's amazing. But this leads us to the single biggest mistake that beginners make. They trust the chat history.
The chat history problem, this is critical.
Correct.
The AI does not, by default, remember your conversation.
All right, so if you ask it for the 5 main ideas in a book, and it gives you this brilliant, perfect list, if you navigate away and come back, that list is gone from its memory. It only remembers the uploaded source files, not the conversation about them.
And that's so frustrating for people starting out. The chat is temporary workspace. The sources panel is permanent memory.
So the fix for this is basically mandatory for anything useful the AI creates.
It is. When the AI gives you a great answer, that perfect summary, you have to find the little pin icon or the Save to Note button, click it.
That saves the answer over to the studio area on the right, but it's not permanent memory for the AI. Not yet.
Exactly. The final critical step is this. You select that save note, you click the 3 dots, and you select Convert to Source.
And that one action transforms the AI's temporary answer into a new permanent source document. It's like adding a new page to the textbook.
You're actively curating the knowledge base itself. It's no longer just a conversation, it's engineered insight.
So if I get a fantastic answer in the chat, how do I make sure it becomes part of the AI's permanent knowledge base?
You have to save the chat answer as a note, and then explicitly convert that note into a new source.
Okay, let's shift gears. What about the scenario where you don't have files yet? You're starting a big project from scratch, say opening a coffee shop. This is where deep research comes in.
Right. When you go to Add Source from the web, you see 2 options. One is Quick Search. It's for simple facts like capital of Australia. It's fast, but shallow.
And then there's deep research, which I think is the real game changer here.
This requires a bit more thought. You give it a detailed prompt, a mission, and it takes about 5 to 10 minutes. But instead of just grazing the top results, deep research looks at hundreds of websites.
It performs a sort of algorithmic triage, right? It filters out the spam, the junk, the ads.
Yes, it's filtering and synthesizing. It compiles the best, most relevant info it finds into one comprehensive research report source made just for you.
So instead of wading through 40 Google results, you give the AI a mission. Something like, find detailed guides on opening a specialty coffee shop in 2025. Look for equipment costs, profit margins, and find real case studies.
And that specificity is key. You hit execute, and you can just step away for a few minutes. When you come back, the AI has built you a high-quality, pre-filtered source document.
Whoa, that means 10 hours of reading and filtering is basically done in 10 minutes?
It's an incredible time saver. Now you have a grounded quality source you can ask questions to instead of swimming in web noise.
So what's the biggest advantage of deep research over a traditional web search for gathering that foundational knowledge?
It actively filters the junk and synthesizes hundreds of sources into one single, coherent report.
That focus on quality leads us to our final tip for successful context engineering, the chunking method. So even though the AI can read a 500-page book you upload, what's the problem with doing that?
It leads to what you could call AI fatigue. You get these bad, vague summaries because the scope is just too wide. It's like asking a student to summarize the history of the world.
You'd get a terrible answer. But if you ask them to summarize Chapter 1, the Stone Age, you get detail and focus.
Exactly. You want surgical precision. The solution is to use a free tool, a split PDF utility, and just cut your big report into smaller chunks. Upload Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3 as separate files.
And the power of that is when you go to your bookshelf, you can check only Chapter 1, and then ask the AI, create a glossary of difficult words from this specific chapter.
And the AI is focused entirely on that one chunk. It's not distracted by the noise from the rest of the book. It gives you a hyper-focused, usable answer.
But what if I can't easily split a file?
Well, you can still be tactical. If you have to upload a huge file, you can tell the AI in your prompt, focus only on pages 300 to 350 for this summary. You kind of force the chunking with your words. But splitting the files is always better.
So why does chunking improve the quality of the summaries, even if the AI can technically process the whole file?
Because splitting the files allows the AI to focus precisely. It delivers detailed, surgical summaries instead of vague, generalized ones.
This has been a huge amount of foundational knowledge, but so valuable. We've moved from just drowning in browser tabs to really understanding the core concepts of knowledge engineering.
Yeah, we established the difference between general AI and grounding that vital boundary.
Yeah.
We learned that you are the context engineer. And crucially, we fixed the memory problem by knowing how to convert chat answers to permanent sources.
This foundational work really moves you out of just passively consuming information. You are now actively engineering your knowledge base for control.
Definitely. And next time, we get into the really fun part. We'll be turning boring text into listenable audio, making mind maps, and using advanced prompts to learn complex topics super fast.
But for now, here's a final thought for you to take into your week. How much time, in actual hours, could you truly save next week if you just force the AI to only read the 3 most important reports sitting in your inbox right now?
Take back control of your context.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
Go explore your sources.